Hey guys, it's Bia here and today we're back with another video. Now today is just going to be a sit down and talk video. So I've decided to let you guys know how I got into London College of Fashion. I know that before I go in, I was thinking it was going to be really difficult and I was really scared. My teachers told me it was going to be like people don't get accepted, people like struggle, people need to have people need to go to foundation in order to be able to get accepted. A lot of people don't go in through their A levels. However, I managed to go straight from A levels to studying at uni, so I'm gonna let you guys know how I did that. Now I am going to let you guys know that it was easier for me because I'm already living in London and I took part in the LCF, which is the London College of Fashion's like courses that are not that are pre-uni. So they have a set of courses which you can pay for, but they also have something that is free and it's called an Insights course. They have one for spring and they have one for autumn. So they have this every year, and this is usually to encourage people who are already living in London and are near to the uni to take part in these courses and to help them get into London College of Fashion. So London College of Fashion is part of the University of Arts. So along with College of Fashion, you also have Central St. Martin's, Chelsea College of Arts, London College of Communications, Camberwell College of Arts. You also have Wimbledon College of Arts. So there's a lot of them, and they are all together. So essentially, as a student of University of Arts, you can travel between each campus and you can use their facilities. So even though I'm studying at London College of Fashion, I can go to Central St. Martin's Library, which is the biggest one out of all the different campuses, and I can use it just as if I was studying there. So you can interchange between them. And so this university has the Insights course for different courses. So not only if you're studying fashion, but you can also do an Insights course for like architecture. You can do it for performance, you can do it for costume, you can do it for textiles, you can do it for fine art, you can do it for all kinds of things, graphic design, etc. So you can check this out. There's a lot of them on the website. I'm not gonna let you guys know about this, but if you want to know more about it, I can do another video on it. So essentially these courses help you get further, especially the autumn one, which is what I did, which is what's going to lead me on to step number. Wait, hold on. Did I even give you step number one? Step number one was just to use my A levels to make up my portfolio, because I tried to add extra things to my portfolio that were not really part of what I was doing in A levels, and I did not end up doing much. Like, I didn't have much time. So because I was just focusing on the A levels themselves, so I just used parts of those and I put them together. I took them in a big, massive, I don't even know if that's A0 or A1. You know, if you've seen my videos of how I got A star in textiles A level, you'll see how massive my folders are. They're like this big. So you guys, I took two of those and I exaggerated. You don't have to take it that big. You should, in fact, you should reduce the size and you should only pick the most important parts of your portfolio for the interview, as in for your project. So what you think was the most like the highlights of the project. For example, I had my what's it called? I had my recycling sustainability project, and what I should have done was take out the most important bits and use those for the portfolio, because usually if you're gonna send it digitally, they only want a few pages, so you have to summarize. Anyways, so step one, use your A levels. This is only I can only talk about A levels because I don't know how it is like in other countries. I don't know what you do. I don't really know what the process is if you're an international student. So you have to probably watch another video, or maybe one day I'll get a friend to let you guys know how theirs went. So Step 2 is to go to the insights course I was talking about. So you should go to the autumn insights. If you're living in London, like, you can't really do the insights. This is a step you can't really take unless you're living in London, or unless you're living in England and you're willing to go to London every weekend. So what they do, basically, they make you do a project on something that they chose. I did some project on diversity, I think, and it was about exploring different ways of being, like how people express themselves, how they express their culture and their sexuality and different things. So that's what we were working on. And then by the end of this, they actually had a session where they helped us with our portfolio. So you get this benefit that everyone else that is not from London gets, which is you get to ask them directly what do they want. So, and you ask them for feedback on everything that you have. So that is something that I find like priceless, because this could be like the reason why you get in the first place, because you're getting help straight from them. So after this, they give you a interview that is also before everyone else that is from outside, that is not in the insights course, which means that you have a higher chance of being selected, which is one of the reasons why I think it was much easier to get in without even having to have a foundation. So you get a guaranteed interview. You don't have to send your work digitally, and anything else, you just get help from them, which is amazing. And you also know how the atmosphere is in the college before you go in. So if you end up deciding that after this insights course you don't want to go to this college, you already know how it felt like. You can even have this in your personal statement, and it would be very helpful to you. So yeah. Also, you have a project that you could potentially use for a portfolio if you wanted to go for another college. Moving on to number 3, you need to make sure that when you're selecting your work to put in your portfolio, that you are making it look coherent. You need to make sure that you show progression as you're going through your project. So you need to have your initial ideas. How were they looking like? How is everything looking like halfway through the project? You need to include some experiments that you might have done and how these helped you to move forward and develop your ideas, and then have your final piece. Okay? And that's what you should do. If you're showing them 2 projects or 3, you need to do this every single time. Show that there is a storyline, there is a timeline, not just making everything mixed together. No, that does not work. So if you really want to get in, you need to make sure everything has some sort of logic to it. Also, another thing that is very, very important that they told me was that you should not be scared to experiment, okay? This is also something my A-level teacher told me, that experimenting is the bulk of your work. Also, and if you're doing A-levels, you should know this already. Most of your grade is in the development stage, is not the final piece. The final piece was a quarter. Everything else that you did before the final piece is what's actually giving you the grade. So this is probably the reason why they're doing it, so that you get ready to put this in your portfolio, so that you show development. This is because the uni wants to know how you think. So they want to see through the progression of your work, how are you developing, seeing if you're actually creative enough to come up with different ideas, because most of the time the first idea you have is the worst idea you have, okay? So you should always keep trying different things until you get to something that is more unique and more exciting. So number 4, the last tips are for the interview and for what you should be expecting when you go in for them, like what kind of questions they're going to ask you, how is it going to be, what the environment's going to be like. So what happens is you go in, they give you, like, your name should be on the list, of course, if they invited you for the interview. At this point, you would have already, if you have not taken part in the insights course, you'd have sent them a digital piece of work, which is going to help them choose you already. So this already shows that they're interested in your work and they want to choose you. You just have to give them the reason to take you instead of someone else into the course. So when you go in, they make you wait for your interview, and then they start asking you to explain your work. So before you go into the interview, your interview, you should be mentally prepared for anything that they might ask. Imagine, let me show you. So imagine that you have your work here. Now this is not my portfolio. This is actually the project that I was doing before we had to be on lockdown, and before we had to stop everything. So this is technically not finished, but we will never be able to finish it. If in the interview they ask me, why did you choose this title, I should be able to tell them, I was interested in this because of X, Y, and Z. Also, as you're going through, you should be able to explain any processes that you might have used, if it is printing or dyeing, or the type of stitches that you use, the type of fabric manipulation that you use, where you got inspired from, why did you get inspired by that. You have to be able to take them through your whole work, through everything that you're talking about. For example, this was just fabric sourcing. Not interesting, really. This is when I started developing a vest idea for my work. Okay, this is just me giving you an example. I took the vest idea and then I started looking into it. How would it work? I then used some inspiration. I'm not going to take you through the project properly, but I'm just saying this was an inspiration from the place where this was meant to be designed for, and then I used this to develop the idea of the vest and make it more interesting. Because if I just stuck to this in the beginning, where could I go? I can't really go anywhere without any more inspiration. Like, the project would be dead. By adding more inspiration from different places, you're making it automatically more interesting, and you're delving deeper into your ideas. So as you're going through, you should be able to show them how you're progressing. Also, another thing is that you should have a lot of sketching and a lot of development. Sketch as much as you can, and have as much show off. Basically, if there's anything you're really good at, show it off, and have as many experiments on show as possible. This shows them that you're not scared to take risks, and this is something that they're really interested in. Also, do not stress out. I was so scared and so stressed when I went. I remember I was holding the paper and I was doing this. Like, no, you shouldn't do that. Don't be that scared. They're not gonna bite you. I know it's very important, and that's how it feels like when you go for the interview. It is a very important thing, and if you don't do well, you probably won't get accepted. However, they're not gonna bite if you just breathe. If you feel like you're speaking too fast, just take a second, breathe, ask them to like give you just a second to stop. Okay, keep going. Okay, did you see how everything just changed? I was speaking so quickly, and now I can focus. I'm not gonna go off course. So, and the last bit of information is that you should expect them to ask you about who's your favorite designer. That's what they asked, and I know other people that I met, they also asked them that. Who's your favorite designer? Like, who inspires you the most, and why are they a big inspiration? And how have you used the work that they make as inspiration for your work? So I, for example, chose Iris van Herpen. The reason why I chose Iris van Herpen is because in my last few projects, I always had her in some shape or form as inspiration, especially when I was doing laser cutting and I was trying to push the bounds of what was possible. Using resin, using plastic, using all these different materials that are not the usual classical just fabric, whatever. It's not what you expect to see. So that's why I'm using Iris van Herpen. One, because she uses unconventional materials, and two, because she's not scared of trying new things. If it messes up, it messes up, but That's the reason why she has such unique style comparing to all the other designers that are out right now, because she makes something completely different to everyone else. She's the only one that's really innovating in the industry in terms of using different materials and different techniques that are not already being used by other people, and hence everyone else is inspired by her and everyone else looks up to her because of how innovative she is. So yeah guys, I think that is it for my knowledge and my advice for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments below. Also leave a like, because why not? I'm joking. Just leave a like. It means a lot to me. I'm trying so hard to make videos that you guys find helpful. If there's anything else you might want me to make a video on in terms of personal statement, interview, how is it like to be studying at this uni, the pros and cons, anything else that you might want me to let you know, or if it's just one of the other videos of how to make anything, I will help you guys out and I'll make a video for it. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day and subscribe. Bye guys.